Hello guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to episode 3 on my building M140 from the ground up series. And as you can see behind me, the car is taking shape. In episode 2, I concentrated on the rear end of the car, we stripped out the interior of the car and I got that dashboard out of there. Have a look at those LCI M140 rear lights and the LCI M140 rear tailgate. Everything is lined up perfectly, but in order for everything to work, I need to put the new wiring loom into the car. And before I can put the new one in, I need to take all the old one out. So that's what we're going to be concentrating on in this episode. This is, for you, a new day, but for me it's the same day as episode 2, if that makes sense. So I'm going to try to blitz out as much work as I can for the next hour or two, and then that should take me up to about 7 p.m. I'll head home, come in tomorrow, and then we'll continue working. There's a ton of work to do. We're not even wasting any time on this one. I hope you're liking it. Let's get straight into the build. Let's go. So guys, as you know, the rear end is all good, and it's actually working. Open it up. Everything looks all right on this side. What I need to do now is all of these wires, all of these little sensors, all these little modules, I need to take them apart, take all the wiring out, all the carpets, everything, and push it all the way that way. And I also need to remove some other bits in the front. All of that has got to go. Let me go to the front to show you. This bad boy has got to come out, but I can't remove that until I drop the engine. Reason being, I learned this when I done the disassembly on the M140 where I got all my parts, which was a breaker car. If you don't know, go check out episode 1. I explained everything. There's several nuts and bolts that I need to gain access from behind the engine that holds this complete unit in place. But I need to just like prep everything and literally prepare the car to get the engine and all the drivetrain removed. In the last episode, I figured out a plan for how I'm going to retain functionality for this sunroof. So I'm hoping that once I can get that new wiring loom, it's a massive wiring loom. So once I get that in, I'm hoping that I can figure it all out and keep functionality of this bad boy. But yeah, let's get started, tidy up, and then I can start to lift some of these carpets and start to remove the modules. Alright guys, check this out. I've gone ahead and I've stripped all the modules and the wiring from this back trunk section and also underneath the seat. Now if you look right here, if I zoom it in, that is the fuel pump, and that fuel pump is exactly the same part number as the M140 fuel pump. The fuel tank is exactly the same part number, so I'll be leaving that in place. That has actually got a full tank of petrol. I will drain that once it's time to drop the suspension, but I'll be leaving that in place. However, if I run into any issues, I have also got the M140 stuff to kind of rectify if I run into issues. But for now, I'll be leaving that like that. Moving on to the front, as you can see, everything is piled up in this section. The reason being is all the wiring is beneath the carpet, and the carpet can't come out unless I remove the heater matrix, which is back there. To remove the heater matrix, I have to remove this big metal beam, and to remove the big metal beam, I need to access 4 bolts which are hidden behind. They're not hidden, but they're just situated behind the engine. So this is where I'm gonna have to leave it for today. There's not a lot more that I can do. Have a look at that. Like I said, I'm very happy with that. That's all cleared out, and I've got basically the same type of wiring, but for the newer M140 car with all the fancy features, which I'm gonna lay exactly where that stuff came from. I painstakingly labeled all the connections so I know where everything goes. Once again, I'm gonna have a ton of parts. I've got this is the comm box. This is amplifier for the hi-fi system. There's just a lot of different bits and bobs. I've got several doors. If anyone needs any doors, I've got doors in black. I'm not gonna sell these ones because I'm gonna leave them on the car. I'm gonna leave the car blue, but I've got black doors, identical, great condition. I've got 2 wings. All of these suspension components are going to be for sale if anyone needs any suspension components. Alloys, like I've been saying. I've got a few mirrors. I've got tons of bits. And yeah, I need to sell them so I can start to recoup some money from the cost of this car, the M140, etc., etc. And this is going to be the creme de la creme. We've got the widescreen Pro Nav system here, and this is the highly sought after. It's got the Sirius satellite radio, it's got DAB, and yeah, once again, have a look at that. It's the Pro Nav with the big extended screen. These are going on eBay for £800. I'm only selling this for about £375. If I get £375 for this kit, you can have it. If anyone's interested, drop me a DM on Instagram.
Tomorrow.
Alright, so guys, it's the next morning here, and yesterday we concentrated on the interior of the car. We got a lot of work done. Today I want to do some stuff in the engine bay, get everything torn down as much as I can, and then we'll get the car on the ramp, drop that engine and the front suspension together as a unit, and then we can continue getting this car swapped over and getting it prepped to take that B58 engine. Let's go. One down, one more to go. So these are the coolant pipes that goes into the heater matrix, which gives you warm air. And to that same connection, you've got the 2 AC pipes that obviously gives you AC. So what I'm doing, I'm using this tool to reach down inside, and it can pinch the clip and decompress it so it can come off the hose. But it's so slippery, man, because there's coolant leaking everywhere. So guys, I've just noticed something. All along, I was saying that I need to drop the engine to be able to remove that unit there because there's hidden bolts. That's because when I've done this job before on the B58, when I pulled the B58 is such a beast of an engine, there was no space to access the nuts and bolts. But as I'm working to get these 2 hoses off, so these are the 2 connectors that I was working on down in there, I've got access to the nuts that I need. Look, 1 and 2, and that's going to hold that heater matrix in place. And on this side, you've got one big nut right there. Don't know if you can see that. Yeah, right there. So I have got access. So what I'll do now is take those nuts off and try to take that heater matrix unit complete, so I can continue removing all the wires on the inside of the car. Look at that! Let's get all this carpet out, get the final bits of wiring loom out, and we're good to go. Before we get on with that, guys, have a look at this. So, when you take your dashboard out, I've done dashboards before, but like I said, I love to learn new things. I've never taken out a heater matrix before. I've never taken out this massive metal beam. I don't even know what it's called. But anyway, this is where it gets air from the outside. Like I said, these are the two connectors that were in the engine bay. And it goes through, and this gives you the coolant, the AC. This is the heater matrix right here. And I had to disconnect the steering rack. As you can see, steering wheel. That's how it connects to this little pinion joint right there. So I'm going to keep all of that nice and safe. I'm very happy with what I'm seeing there. Yeah, that's going to come out. This is going to be for sale. If anyone needs a heater matrix, anyone's got leaking heaters or leaking AC or heaters that's not warming up in the F20, F21, I'm going to sell that complete unit. But yeah, like I said, it's the final countdown. Let's get all of this stuff out of here. And there's a lot of wiring, so all the wiring loom is all connected. So the same wiring loom that's in here, it just goes through the bulkhead, and I need to disconnect everything there and drag it back through this way. Final thing, I just realized I will be taking off this because this is a manual car. I'm also going to be converting it to automatic. The good thing about BMW is the automatic gearbox works over the CAN network. So once I install all the wiring loom, it should be fine. Also, when I take this carpet up, you're going to find there's a hole for the transmission linkages to go through from the inside of the car down to the transmission. But the breaker that I got, like I said to you earlier, all the shells come off the manufacturer line exactly the same. So all of them has got the holes, but cleverly for all the automatic cars, BMW have just got little plastic plugs. I'll show you another example from the other side. So this is a right-hand drive for the European market. So obviously we've got the hole here. However, if you look at that indentation right there, it's also got the hole for as if it was a left-hand drive. However, it's just plugged with some plastic. Anyway, enough talking. I think I've bored you enough. Let's get all of this out. Guys, I'm working away and a thought just came into my head. What if I do all of this and it's for nothing? What if I do all of this and it doesn't work? Because this is a lot of work. What if something goes wrong? Who knows? I guess we'll find out, eh? Come on. Alright guys, so we're almost done getting this entire wiring loom out of the car. But on this side is a little bit different and I thought I'll show you. So when you take this out, it's going to have a ton of wires underneath. But if you go right here, there's some little clips. Okay, so underneath, all of these actually You have to unplug them and they'll feed back through to the interior of the car. So guys, bye-bye clutch, and I've got the single brake pedal, which is a bigger brake pedal, and I'll replace this one with the automatic gear. But yeah. Alright guys, so this is where it's getting a little bit daunting. Have a look at the interior. I've managed over the last couple of days to strip it all the way back to the bare shell. Bearing in mind, the only bit of wiring in the car is from the new replacement boot, so that's gonna stay there. Everything else is all down. Still got the battery, but the battery is disconnected at the moment. But have a look inside. Everything is completely stripped. I'm hoping that I can retain functionality of that sunroof, but everything else is there. Now I'm going to be gutting out those subwoofers under the seats as well, because I've got the Harman Kardon pair to fit in. Everything in the back is going to stay like that. Have a look, literally there's nothing left there, and I'm happy with that. That's the entrance to the fuse box there. There's a hole that comes in, so I'll put the new wiring loom, thread it through everything. I've got a new ABS pump to fit, all new brake lines, all new fuel lines from the M140, and yeah, this is what we're left with, guys. I don't know, I feel good and I feel a bit scared and a bit worried at the same time. Have a look at the wiring loom. This is the complete wiring loom from the car. This is the body computer. This is what really controls the keys, security, all of those things. Once I get the new one from the M140, this is going to be the new controller into that car, and then I can put away this set of keys and pick up the set of keys for the M140, and everything in theory should work. The way that I disconnected everything, you can see everything is still connected, so out with this, in with the new one. Here we have the complete heater matrix unit with all the AC controls and automatic vents, etc, etc. You know, on the BMWs, when you turn the ignition on for the first time, you hear all those whining sounds. It's all of these little electric vents opening and closing, and they're controlled by these motors here on the side. So yeah, and finally here is the brake and clutch. If my plan and my theory works, I should be able to replace this unit with the other unit from the M140, and I should have full functionality. That is the theory. In the next episode, we'll put that theory to the test and we'll see how it works out. So guys, I am happy with everything that we managed to do in this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, press the like button, and if you want to see how we get on, remember the next episode is going to be a very important episode on the project. I'm going to be refitting the M140 wiring loom. I'm going to be hooking up everything as much as I can, and hopefully I should get functionality for the sunroof, and everything on the dash should be working. So this is the test. All of this work comes down to this. Just give it. So if you want to see how we get on with that, subscribe to the channel, make sure your bells are on. There's going to be another fun-filled episode coming very, very soon. But for now, this is where we're going to wrap up. So like I always say, keep it moving, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, yeah. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that, why don't you check out one of my previous videos on the left? There's plenty in the playlist. And if you want to know more about the Salvage game, why don't you become a member of Salvage Nation, and I'll be there to guide you along the way. And don't forget, you can follow me on Facebook, TikTok and Instagram if you want to get an inside scoop before YouTube.